Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Dr. Jim and Janine Fox from Doctor's Nutrition, located on Callan-Lorraine Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this on a weekly basis, every Monday. If this is the first time you've tuned in. Excuse me. It is a live call-in show, so you're welcome to call in and ask questions regarding your health. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. The phone numbers are on the screen there for you. You just call in and pass the question along to our producer, and they will pass that question along to us. Now, the first Monday of the month, which is May 1st today. It's going to be May. Already, yes. We do what we call open line Mondays, like open line Monday, which basically any question that you have regarding any kind of health issues that you may be having, feel free to call in and ask. And then during the course of the month, we usually have a different topic that we will talk about. Next week's going to be fascinating, but we're not going to tell you until later what it is going to be. But it is Open Line Monday, so give us a call, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. I had an email. Somebody emailed me and said, y'all talked about allergies last week. Wanted to know if y'all did any kind of allergy testing.
We do. We can actually do the IgE testing by blood. We don't do the prick test because there's a couple different ways you can test for outdoor allergens, and that is either the prick test or you can do blood tests. We do the blood test. We also, when it comes to allergy testing, we do food allergy testing. And we do a lot of that because so many people have issues and they don't really know what's causing it. So we actually can do food allergy testing as well.
And a lot of the food allergies will actually show up making you think it's a seasonal allergy, runny nose, eyes, things like that. So it's got some of the same, it overlaps. And it's one of those things that, sometimes during the year when pollens and stuff are not so big, you got people that still have these, allergies like that. And it's typically, go back to a food allergy. It's probably one of the most life-changing tests you'll ever do.
Well, I have found, and we have talked about this before, the more I have matured, there's more things that I find that I can't eat or I'm intolerant of.
And it's not just you.
No, it's not you.
Well, I know that.
A lot of people out there like that.
It is interesting when you find out, well, I used to love to be able to eat that. It was like, nope.
Can't do it now.
Can't do it now. My stomach just can't handle it.
If it hurts you bad enough, you'll stay away from it.
It's true.
I always tell people when they said, I eat this and it bothers me, I'm like, well, then don't eat it. I mean, that's actually one you don't have to do a test for.
Is there any one particular food that has a tendency to cause more allergy issues than other?
Gluten.
And people say, well, great grandpa, they ate wheat stuff all their life, and they didn't get near as much gluten. We talk about genetically engineered or genetically modified or, foods and stuff. And wheat is one that has been bred, if you will, to have extremely high gluten. Because everybody wants it. You want that, you want to see the guy throw his pizza dough up in the air and it stretches out. And that's got to have gluten to do that. If you take a real low gluten food, or wheat, like we use Einkorn, which is the ancient grain, and it has almost none. And you throw that thing up in the air, it's just going to flop all over the place.
It's not stretchy.
It does not stretch whatsoever.
No, I've eaten your pizza.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
But they do not stretch.
It's not stretchy.
No.
Yeah.
But that's why they've changed it, and that's why gluten is such a problem. They say that gluten is now, I forgot how way higher, extremely high.
It's like 50 times or something higher than it used to be in the 50s. And so it's way more than what people are used to eating, and we really don't have the enzymes that actually break it down.
No.
So it's not a question of are you sensitive to gluten, it's how sensitive are you.
Yeah.
Everybody has some sensitivity, it's just to what degree.
Well, I have a feeling that you've already answered my next question that I had here. I deal with arthritis on a daily basis. Is there any particular food that I need to avoid?
Well, gluten is the number one.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's the number one thing. If we get somebody in and, like for instance, we test maybe an RA factor or something and it's a little bit elevated, or any other arthritis, whether it be osteo or whatever. And that's one of the first things we're going to tell people. So, okay, let's just give it a 2-week hiatus. Stop it for 2 weeks. See if you don't feel better. And typically they do.
Right. And also with the arthritis, nightshade plants.
Yeah.
Nightshade plants are known to be inflammatory. And that
is... You're going to hate this.
Yeah. Potatoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tomatoes. eggplant, and peppers. Normally things that are good for you, I mean.
And they're really good.
But they're high
Fortunately, none of
inflammatory.
those, not one of those 4 bother me.
Yeah.
So not yet.
Like I
Not
said,
yet.
those
Hopefully it won't.
they are
Okay. Hopefully it won't.
inflammatory. But like I said, definitely the gluten. I have people that do come in with autoimmune problems. And when they're flared up, it usually won't get better unless they get off of it. So I do tell them, you got to go do something different. You know, I mean, you got to change your diet.
Yeah, that's.
Dairy is another high one that a lot of people do have problems with, but it depends on the person. Some people are okay with it, some people are not. So you just have to kind of see. I think everybody does better usually when they stop the gluten. And like I said, that Einkorn that we use, but you have to make your own. You're not going to find it already pre-made in things. You want to actually just buy it. We get ours from Einkorn.com. So it's like, site that just sells Einkorn.
IRONCORN.
No. EINKORN.
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 Oh, German. That's like
German.
Ein.
Yeah. Well,
One corn.
I don't even know what it is. I'm not sure, but.
Well, EIN is German for one.
Oh, okay.
I lived over there for a while. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
All right.
Well, then.
There we go.
But there is that wheat that actually is different. It's higher in protein. It doesn't have. They say it has traces of gluten, but it's a different type of gluten that's added to the food.
Yeah, the protein strain.
Yeah.
It's not. It's an ancient grain. They found
It's
it.
an
like,
ancient grain, yeah.
Tebekli Tepe, a place up in Turkey or Greece. No, Turkey, where they were excavating some things, and they found that they found some of the seeds there, and then they dated back like 15,000 years. So they know that this is a very ancient grain and grass grain that some of those people had. They didn't have huge amounts because they didn't have the big combines to combine it, but they would harvest it and they would eat it. So it was something that they had in their diet. And
the places that sell it tends to, I've never seen it that wasn't organic.
Right.
And it's never been modified.
Right.
Interesting story, talking about living in Germany. I also, for a while, my father was Air Force, lived in Ankara, Turkey. And there were a couple of times when we'd go just outside of Ankara to some of the villages, and you'd see the people grinding the wheat and everything, making bread, and it was very interesting.
Oh yeah, and it's real interesting. Yeah, I think that if you start, and then you can get on YouTube, you can see where some of those villages and stuff like where they have like once a week they bake bread.
Yeah,
they have a big oven.
It was like walking into biblical times.
It is. It is. It's
outside
kind of interesting how they live. Yeah.
It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. It's Open Line Monday. So any questions you have regarding your health, pick up the phone, give us a call. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. And welcome back. 10 minutes after 9 o'clock here on this beautiful Monday morning. It is our open line edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. So any questions you might have regarding your health, please feel free to call in and pass that along to us. Somebody called in and asked, my mother suffered from dementia, passed away from dementia. What are the chances that I will contract it, and is there anything that I can do to lessen my chances of it?
Well, you can't really say what your chances are.
Right.
May not be that great, because you're just genetically probably predisposed to it. There's a lot of things that go into that. I mean, and believe me, right now, there is massive amounts of research going on in that particular field, trying to figure out, okay, exactly what do these genes that we have, how do they express, how do we silence them, or how do they kick in and cause problems for like dementias and so on. And so it's a very fascinating field. And so far, that's why they haven't come up with a pill that you can take.
Yeah, there's not just one thing. It's probably a combination of things that you can do to help prevention.
Exactly.
Now, there's no doubt you're genetically predisposed if you have it in the family. But the things that all the research is saying that you should do, for one, you need to eat right. That's one time you need to go, get away from packaged processed foods. You really do want to do more of real food and not eat so much sugar. Some of the people out there are calling dementia type 3 diabetes because it's the way the sugar affects the brain can actually affect, the getting dementia. So you don't want to just eat sweets all day.
No.
So that's one thing. Another is exercise. They've definitely shown that exercise helps prevention.
Even walking.
Even walking. Huge, just 30 minutes, 3 times a week even.
One study showed as little as 15.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
15
There's a lot out there on it.
Yeah.
So exercise is another one. Now, something I was just reading the other day talked about sleep. Sleep is definitely something that they have linked to dementia, not getting good enough sleep. So that is actually one thing. You want to make sure you get your sleep.
Right.
And you always want to go to bed at the same time every night, get up at the same time in the morning, get your body on a better body clock, and also use your brain. They also know that not using your brain actually can make dementia. But your brain at night it's when it cleans out, is what kind of that they've shown. And they've shown that when you don't sleep, it actually doesn't clean out properly. And that's when you'll start getting what they call the tangles and some of the tau proteins and some of those things that increase dementia.
Yeah.
If you're also wanting to look at prevention, you also have to look at medications that actually increase dementia.
And there are some.
There is a list of them. And I think that's one reason you're seeing so much dementia right now, is you're seeing so much use of some of these medications. You can get online and just look up, and they'll give you lists of things. And one of the over-counter things, diphenylhydramine hydrochloride, which is everything in sleep medicines. All the stuff
if
you
it has
see,
PM on it, it's probably,
if it says
got
PM or it's for sleep and it's not natural, it's probably got that. So that's one thing that you definitely want to stay away from. Now, short-term use, it's an antihistamine. Short-term use for an allergic problem, that's no problem. If you use it for a day or two because you have an allergy or you got exposed to something or got stung, or that's fine. They've shown a continual use. And a lot of people take these every night to go to sleep, and it's actually increasing their risk of dementia. And some of the benzodiazepines do it. A lot of the bladder medications can do it. You start looking, and there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, so you do want to look at what you take, because that can increase your risk.
Yeah, it's our modern world has a lot of good conveniences, so to speak, and a lot of pitfalls, and that's one of them. When some of these things that something like a medication, and you can use it, like you said, if you got an allergy or something, okay, you can take it a little bit. It's just something, but what happens is we tend to overuse it. Humans being what we are, we'll tend to overuse or start getting into a habit or habitual use of it. And when we do, some of these things that are very good in some areas turn into something that, it can be detrimental to us.
Okay, there's some of the over-the-counter antihistamines that have not shown dementia.
Right.
But this is the old one. It's the oldest one that's been out forever. It is the one that's been shown and linked with dementia.
Well, you talked about exercising your brain.
Yep.
Just about every household, or you or whatever, have one of these. It's called a telephone. And there's all kinds of games that you can get on there, Wordscape, family, words with friends, just little things like that help you exercise your brain, and that are free. You don't have to buy them. They're free.
And it's kind of interesting. Back when I was in school, it was a long time ago, rocks were still cooling off and all that. So it was a long time ago. But back then they told us, okay, you're born with a certain number of brain cells. That's it. Boom, you kill one. They're done. I said, well, gosh, by the time you're 40 or so, hell, they'd be all gone, But, they told us if you drink a beer, it's going to be killing some brain cells. I was like, oh, gee, I know a lot of people that don't have much brain left, Anyhow, that was 45 or so years ago. Today, not so. We can go back now and tell that professor, you were wrong, dude. We know that the brain is actually plastic, meaning that it can expand, it can change. And so neuroplasticity, or adding brain cells, and the way you do that, do something you don't normally do. If you're right-handed, start doing something with your left hand. Just something that simple, and that has shown, like you said, get the games. I mean, everybody's got to.
And there's also nutrients that have definitely had really good research. There's a couple different kinds of choline. One of the ones we use a lot, it's actually patented name is Cognizin. It's a CDP, and it has definitely been shown to prevent. Also, we have Bacopa is another one that's been shown, phosphatidyl serine. Ginkgo. Ginkgo increases the blood flow to the brain. So, and then we have some formulas like Memory Pro, and we have Memory Core, and we have Brain Reset. We have so many different memory products, and they definitely have been shown to make a difference. The Cognizin is the one that a lot of people that take it come back and say, man, I can tell when I don't take that. And so we do have a lot of people on it, and they can tell when they don't take it even for a day or two. So that's one that you can definitely tell a difference. But so there's definitely things for the brain, and like we always say, fix underlying problems, because things like a B12 deficiency, a folate deficiency, an iron deficiency, a thyroid problem, high stress hormone, all that actually contributes to dementia as well. So you got to get all those fixed. And then omega-3s. That's something probably everybody needs, because your brain is made up of fat and needs a lot of DHA. And DHA, you get it from fish oil. And then we have DHEA just by itself for people that want the high dose DHA.
DHA,
Yep. So
I take them both.
Yeah. So like I said, there's a lot that you can do actually.
All right, 17 minutes now after 9 o'clock. What's the best method to help with sciatica pain?
Sciatica, I'd say go to a chiropractor.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, that's the best thing you can do for sciatic pain. I mean, we have some things that's more for nerve repair and help the nerve, but you really do need to go get adjusted and get that taken care of, because it's usually a structural problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open. It's Open Line Monday. 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, we'll take a break and be back with this week's special. It's 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we're wrapping up with our last segment of the morning, but let's first go see what we have, our special of the week.
It's a really interesting carb down. It's a very interesting product. It blocks the uptake of the simple carbohydrates. If you take it with, when you eat, some of the sugars in simple carbohydrates, it will block them and you can't absorb them. So it can help with blood sugar regulation. Some can help with weight loss, that kind of thing. So really interesting product. We don't push it a lot.
We don't push it because I tell people you shouldn't be overeating carbs, but if you're going to, which everybody does, or if you're going to be going out to eat, or you're going to be eating way more than you should, it's a good time to take it. And it does help. People that take it say it does help, and it also has some other things in it for blood sugar control. So it definitely helps keep the blood sugar from spiking, which when that spikes, you make more insulin and you store fat. So it definitely is for weight loss, and it helps with weight loss. And like I said, it's one of the products we've had for years.
Okay, cool. Question from a viewer: do you test for glutathione, and is it good for the liver?
Yes. Yes and yes.
I was going to say both. Okay.
We test. We have a couple of different ways we can test. We actually can just do a blood test on glutathione. So yes, we do that. We also have something called Nutri-Eval that the glutathione is checked with, but it's all the nutrients, every amino acid, all the nutrients, the glutathione, the CoQ10, it does all of it. Now, it's a little bit more of an expensive test, but it gives you really good information. And glutathione, yes, it's great for the liver, but we talked about brain earlier. It's really good for the brain. We have seen so many people, even after strokes, that they can actually get some of the speech back. I mean, it's amazing what glutathione does for the brain. And it actually, one of the things what glutathione does, it's a detoxifier. So we talk about the toxins constantly in the environment, and I mean, gosh, glutathione, we both take it. It is something that I think is good for everybody. It's one of the things your own body produces. You can produce glutathione from NAC and alpha lipoic acid, but we've done a lot of testing, and a lot of people's bodies just don't make it properly, even with taking those two nutrients. We have seen that, but the only way you know is to test. And so yes, we do test it, and yes, we think it is very beneficial, and it's good for pretty much just about anybody to take glutathione.
It is, like I say, it's something the body produces if it has if everything's right. And the problem is everything's not always right. And so sometimes we have to supplement it, and we've got that. We've got a liposomal form, that's the one that we take, that works really well, because glutathione's hard to, and if you see a powder and a pill, it's real hard to absorb that way. So most of the time,
it's hard to absorb reduced glutathione, which that's one of the ones you see that's a little bit cheaper. But it's really hard to absorb from the stomach. We usually either use a S-acetyl glutathione or liposomal, and we have liposomal in both a liquid that you can take by the teaspoon, and we have it in pill form. Because we have kids that take it, and because it's definitely, like I said, it's good for the brain, it's good for detoxification, great for the liver. So but the liver, it helps it with detoxification.
Well, the liver's the number one detoxifier in your body.
Yeah.
I mean, when you start talking about detoxification, the liver, I mean, every minute, every 60 seconds, about 1.5 liters goes through the average adult liver. blood, that much blood at one time in a 60-second period, a liter and a half, take a 2-liter pop bottle, okay, and think about about 3/4 of that thing goes through your liver for filtering and processing every 60 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Another question, you've talked a lot in the past about your red light therapy. What is it good for?
Whatever ails you. I mean, seriously. No, seriously. You talk about, increasing the mitochondrial function. And we've talked about, we had a show on mitochondria, I think.
Yeah, we did.
A long time ago. Ancient history now. But, back then we talked about how to increase mitochondria function. And that red light is the one thing that shows to really increase.
And actually, that's kind of how it works for pretty much everything, is the way it increases mitochondria. But what does mitochondria do? It increases ATP. What is ATP? ATP is cellular energy. And then when you look at, it's really anti-aging. And when you look at, they say what aging is a slowdown of the mitochondria. So when the mitochondria slows down, you age. So if you do the red light therapy, it actually increases mitochondria. So it increases cellular energy, and it actually slows down aging.
Yeah.
And you can even get it, skin. I mean, you hear about it for skin. You can, pain, brain function, anxiety. They even say for bone density. Now, I have truly not used it straight for that, like where somebody did nothing else but did the red light, so we have not tested it ourselves, but there are studies out there that says that it helps.
Yeah.
There's even been studies, kind of neat, you take healthy young people and they put them on an exercise program and a weightlifting program. And then one group got red light therapy with it, one group did not. And they showed increased muscle building by like 30%. It was pretty amazing.
It was drastic, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing what it does. But when the mitochondria are better, you heal better. So it's more about healing, cellular energy, and really anti-aging, which we're all aging, but it slows it down.
Yeah, when we talk about anti-aging, it's not like we're going to stop it, but we can slow it down. And like she said, the more of these mitochondria that you've got, and every cell's got them except your red blood cell. He's a different dude. But they've got these mitochondria that produce energy. Red blood cell just steals his. No big deal. So when we got to have a cell that has to have energy, if you don't have the mitochondria and you don't have it functioning correctly, then that's going to be a problem.
It really is. Everybody that's gotten in it is like that. You just feel good. It makes you feel better when you get in it.
All right. We have another question from a viewer. Where can I find supplements to help with my brain, and how much should I take?
Actually, at Doctor's Nutrition, of course, and it depends on which one it is. We have so many different products for brain, so when you come in, we'll tell you how much you take of which one, because like I said, there's all kind of stuff. We have all the ones that are combination products, and then we got everything in those combination products separately.
Right.
So there's a lot of different things, and you have to take different dosages for different things, but we have a whole lot of things for brain function.
All right, we've got about a minute left. How can I tell if I'm anemic?
Oh, blood test.
test.
Definitely blood test. You can be iron deficient, you can be B12 deficient, even copper deficiencies can affect anemias. So you definitely got to check and see which one you are.
All right.
Okay.
Is melatonin kid-friendly?
Oh, yeah, kids have the most melatonin. That's when we're born. That's when our melatonin is
It's not the first thing I
highest.
do when a kid can't sleep is give them melatonin, but you can take it. I usually try not to if possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Fine.
All right, that just about wraps up our time for this week. It's 27 minutes after 9 o'clock. Next week?
Actually, we're going to be talking about leaky gut.
Ooh.
Leaky gut.
Yeah.
Leaky gut.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so join us next week, next Monday morning at 9 o'clock for that. If you have any questions, you can also email me at jtaber@wlox.com, and you can find a lot of information on Facebook and on their website. We'll see you next week.
For more information on highlighting your business and services on Healthy Living South Mississippi, contact Jim Tabor at 896-1313.